Tinkoff, I have seen that you prepared your presentation. Please, you're welcome.
Okay, I will start. Today we are presenting our STP analysis for Tinkoff company. Segmentation, targeting, positioning, and marketing is a core concept in modern day marketing. It is just impossible to become a market leader without analyzing it and without having a clear idea of who exactly is a business customer and what needs the product should satisfy. Tinkoff Bank appeared on the market in 2006 when the financial niche had been already occupied. So, without STP, its marketing campaigns uh, would be generic, have little to no personalization, and overall, I wouldn't be able to convert at level most businesses would deem effective. Thanks to extraordinary and uh, wonderful developed strategy, it made a revolution and increased its financial turnover many times in 15 years. Now, let's see how Tinkoff implements STP model and what results are being achieved. To start STP analysis, we shall observe the segmentation part of Tinkoff business. Unfortunately, there is almost no official data on any of these topics. So, all our assumptions and considerations are based on different articles and website pages. For starters, geographic segmentation. Tinkoff is mostly digital Russian firm. Thus, by geographic segmentation, it is dedicated mostly to Russian cities. Let's move to social demographic segmentation. Uh, so, clients of Tinkoff Bank are usually young adults. It's not a surprise because Tinkoff Bank positions itself as an innovative bank, which will be mentioned later. College educated. So, clients of Tinkoff are usually educated individuals who have finished university. It is a good sign for the bank when it attracts educated ones. Income, average and higher. As for Tinkoff customers' income level, it fluctuates from medium to high. So, wealthy people usually know how to optimize their financial business and choose proven banks, and Tinkoff Company is one of them. Uh, Middle social class. Tinkoff clients are usually from middle social class. Thus, they have a culture of saving and investing. Key services of the current bank are residents of cities. Communications in Tinkoff Bank are usually made via app, so it, it is extremely comfortable for busy city lifestyle. Businessmen. At the end of the day, it is obvious that there is a significant share of businessmen who use Tinkoff to invest, save, or just borrow money. Bank's environment is friendly for entrepreneurs. Moving to physical segmentation, it could be mentioned that typical Tinkoff customer by lifestyle is, first of all, progressive. The person needs to follow the modern trends and be aware of new streams. This neobank was just made for that kind of people. Values time and efforts. Tinkoff offers an extremely time-saving methods to operate with. So, its typical client knows the cost of his or her time, understands the current market. Uh, Bank business model can be unobvious for an average person. Just an absence of offices and live operators can be stunning. So, to think of clients are people who are not afraid of that format and understand the advantages of such a model. And finally, an investor. Tinkoff Bank offers many ways to invest money, so many of its clients are ready to save their money for the future, not just live from wage to wage. Just a second. Some of our mates has internet problems. Sorry for the delay.
Maybe you will keep on, or we should wait for him. Kai, could you keep on the
Uh,
presentation?
just a second. We're working on it. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So, our general strategy for selecting target markets is so-called concentrated targeting. That means we have chosen one particular market where our company is operating. As a matter of fact, our chosen market is a market of price comparing services, which is not so competitive, by the way. Now let's turn to targeting criteria. Size and trend is 10 million ruble. Our goal is to have revenue of 10 million ruble at the end of the second year. Customer acquisition cost is 800 to 1,500 ruble. We're expecting our clients' average purchase using our site app to be 800 to 1,500 ruble. Our nearest competitor is at a deal. However, it should not be a barrier. The deal provides prices comparing services only in the food sphere, while Goose choose to support it to provide the same services but for every type of good.
Uh, uh, Sorry for our colleague. He has messed up with the presentation. So we were working on our own company, and by accident, he's trying to present that text. Just a second.
Well, I can continue his speech and present targeting. And it is needless to say that size and trends of Tinkoff had reached 1.78 trillion rubles as of July the 1st, 2021. And it is also important that credit card portfolio has increased by 9.9%, and customer acquisition costs on average equals to 800 to 500 rubles. And the positioning is the next slide.
Yes, so Tinkoff is presented to the target audience as a progressive and innovative bank, which was the first in Russia to abandon offline branches and completely switch to online service. Also, company focuses on the convenience of using the bank, as the website of Tinkoff said, you can manage your finances through the mobile app, website, or simply by phone. Almost all problems are solved at the first contact, and we answer all calls and messages around the clock. Besides, Tinkoff Bank pays attention to the brand that each person has an attitude toward the bank. As next slide, please. As Oleg Tinkoff said, positive is excellent, negative is worse, but the worst is when there is no attitude. The company uses rational and emotional advertising to strengthen the company as a brand. In the rational one, there is usually a problem that is solved with the help of any service of Tinkoff Bank, with a description of additional bonuses such as cashback or discounts. And emotional advertising features a captivating video sequence and voiceover that speaks of the bank's identity, success, and revolution on the Russian market. The company also carefully approached to the selection of people who appear in advertising. In most cases, these are famous people, successful athletes or celebrities who are known throughout the country and have a good image. Thus, the bank presents itself as a constantly developing brand that everyone knows. Next slide.
In conclusion, Tinkoff is the bank that proves its efficiency and relevance from year to year. It wouldn't be possible without well-executed STP concept. That's all for our presentation.
Okay, thank you. We should add that Zodiac is the brand by themselves. And this is the cheapest way to promote all the decisions of this bank. Okay, thank you. And as I wrote in our chat, your opponents will be Skillbox, the first one. Oh. No, sorry for the mistake. Your opponent will be Aviasales, and Spotify, please, Aviasales, you're welcome with your first questions.
Okay. Our first question, does Tinkoff want to develop in other countries, except Russia, at least in CIS countries? What will they need to change for this comparison with the behavior on the Russian market?
Okay, thank you for your question. Give us a minute. Ответить. То есть статью я эту видел, но я вот не очень могу сформулировать. То есть как бы он может идти в Азию, но там у него будет серьезная конкуренция. То есть я не уверен, что он вообще пока куда-то хочет идти. А если идет, то как бы как он должен будет адаптироваться, тоже понятно не очень. Как он должен будет адаптироваться? Камон, ребят. Ладно, тогда
Привет.
да, привет. Есть идеи, как на это дело ответить?
Да, я тут уже написал кое-что. Я могу сказать, что there was mentioned that Tinkoff has no official roadmap or announced strategy of expansion. So we only can assume that in the nearest future definitely can move to another countries. Что-то такое. Ну, то есть мы же говорили про то, что у
Да.
него нет планов.
Мгм. Хорошо, давай тогда ты скажи, я, если что, дополню. Мгм.
Ага, только ты пока молчи, когда я буду отвечать. Мгм. Well, I can answer the question. And there was mentioned that Tinkoff has no official roadmap or announced expansion strategy. So we only can assume that in the nearest future, it definitely can provide some expansion plans, but there is nothing proved yet.
So that spring, Tinkoff has announced that he's trying to move to Philippines market. So to create a so-called daughter company here, but the process is unclear. So we're not sure is it completed or not, and what are the results? Because in the Asia region, Tinkoff will meet the severe competition by many neobanks, and it is unpredictable. Will it be able to compete with them or not?
Okay, thank you. The next question.
Thank you for answer. Our next question. You have identified the age of the target audience as 25 to 35, which is so strange because young people aged from 18 to 25 are also tend to use the most modern banks. Why is Tinkoff not focused on them? For example, Sber has youth cards. Does Tinkoff maybe plan to pay more attention to the youth audience?
Okay, thank you for your answer. Give us a minute.
Okay.
Кто-то уже написал в чатике ответ на это дело. Анжелика, ты скажешь? Я смогу добавить, если что. Ты не скажешь, потому что тебя сверлят, я вспомнил.
Ну, вообще у Тинькофф, по-моему, есть Тинькофф Junior. Это что-то наподобие молодежной карты от Сбербанка, но точно я не помню, какая там программа. Но можно сказать, что в любом случае вот целевая аудитория концентрирует в себе максимальный доход, как бы максимальное количество средств. Вот. Более младшая аудитория, она, ну, так или иначе, например, зависима от родителей и так далее.
Не, это понятно. Вопрос, типа, почему Сбер, этому много времени уделяет, а Тинькофф не очень.
Сбер
Давай.
самый массовый банк у нас. Просто он государственный, и поэтому он покрывает вообще все слои населения.
Да, это правда. Наверное, потому что первая карта ребенка будет, ну, как сказать-то, оформлена его родителями, а родители оформят в самом надежном банке, то есть в Сбере. Это можно упомянуть. Еще можно сказать про брокерский счет, что он действительно, типа, Тинькофф очень много внимания уделяет инвестициям, и дети этого делать не могут. Ты начнешь? Я скорректирую.
Надо как-то структурировать. Давай лучше ты.
Ну, давай, я попробую. Окей. Okay, we are ready to answer. So, first of all, Tinkoff has his own so-called junior card. So, it is made for teenagers. But here is the thing. The first card of a child, okay, of a teenager is probably bought by his or her parents, and parents basically prefer the most, you know, the largest and uh, the most proven bank, which is Sberbank, and Tinkoff just has another another approach. So Tinkoff provides its customers with ability to invest a lot. So many banks tools are made in that way, and you can't open your broker's account before 18. But even if you're 20 or 21, you are probably a student and you don't really have an opportunity to invest in something. So that's why Tinkoff has some programs for younger people, but its target audience is from 25 to 35 years old.
Okay,
Okay, good.
understand.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
clear.
We're looking for STP model, and this is the best example of the segmentation. The segment is started at 25, and we just could think off about this decision. But the general option is that this is the limit of the segment. It's so. Okay, the next one.
And our last question is, what advantages and disadvantages does a company have if it is actively engaged in positioning?
Could you please clarify your question? I don't get it.
For example, I think that thanks to positioning, it is possible to increase the level of trust and something like that. So may you give some examples of advantages and disadvantages when a company follow an active positioning?
Okay, we are puzzled a little bit, so give us a minute. Это что, а главное о чем?
Ага. Ну,
Yeah, of course,
насколько я
but we
понимаю,
have very hard time
она
frames.
сейчас
Please, no
скажет.
more than 30 seconds.
Короче, обслуживание дорогое достаточно по сравнению с другими банками, которые нередко предоставляют бесплатное обслуживание, например, Альфа-банк.
Наоборот, мы говорили о том, что дешево обходится. Это было главное конкурентное преимущество. Мне кажется, имеет смысл, в принципе, сказать, что типа positioning it's a part of...
Обслуживание платное, так или иначе.
Ну, но оно дешевле, чем в других. Ну, в общем, мы до этого говорили так, давай не будем это менять. Вот.
Ага, ну, нам просто нужно что-то ответить.
Да, я понимаю. Ну, типа, что positioning it's a part of business strategy, so it is hard to say something about it. But as for advantages, so we have mentioned them a lot in our previous, I don't know, slides. So come on, guys. То есть, ну, не знаю, comfortable app, low payment for cards and so on, and disadvantages, I don't know, aggressive advertising. В общем, я давай начну, ты продолжишь, если что. Мгм. Окей?
Да.
Okay. So first of all, positioning, it's a part of STP marketing process. So it's hard to say, is it good for company to follow mm, uh, positioning or not, because it's just the element of strategy. But as we have mentioned several times in our previous presentations, Tinkoff has the following advantages, such as a low payment for cards, fast delivery of cards, and very comfortable and friendly and user-friendly app. And as for the main disadvantage, the aggressive advertising can be noted, because sometimes it can really irritate some kind of clients. So that's it.
Well, I can add an additional advantage and a disadvantage connected with the brokerage account. And the advantage is that you can instantly withdraw your funds from a brokerage account. And a disadvantage is that there are high interest rates when withdrawing funds from a brokerage account.
Yeah, thank you. As I got it, the question was about the disadvantages over any aggressive marketing campaigns for specific marketing segments, and we could hardly predict how it worked, because the Russian market is very unstable, and there were a lot of problems with banks. Banks were closed by the government, and the number of banks were increased significantly. So I guess that all the negative factors and the banks here are so hard that bank are not able to play with such things. And you told about the product, more about the product, but the question was about the promotion. So generally, as if I will answer on this question, I will pay more attention to the dangerous situation with Russian banks, and that's playing with negative factors inside the spheres. Not the best strategy for promotion. Okay, thank you very much. And the next question will be by the Spotify team. Please, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you. So how can your team estimate possible influence of Tinkoff positioning and segmentation strategies on their competitors?
Okay, thank you. На competitors? А разве Сберу или ВТБ есть какое-то дело до агрессивных рекламных кампаний Тинькова? Типа он у них толком даже аудиторию не ест. Ну, типа, там настолько маленькие пропорции, что плакать хочется.
Ну, все же будущее как бы может изменить эти маленькие пропорции. Поэтому, я думаю, есть.
Ну, да, в теории есть, но вот как? Типа, в общем, можно сказать, что в текущий период, типа, влияет слабо, но потенциально может сильно им испортить жизнь. Если,
Ну
конечно,
да, как раз таки, да.
Тинькофф просто не закроют. Ответишь?
Я не знаю, что, давай ты.
Ой, ну давай я. Окей. So we would like to answer your question, starting with the point that the main strategy of positioning, of promotion and advertising of Tinkoff is aggression type of advertising, as we have mentioned a lot. And in fact, on the current market, so today, we don't think that any Tinkoff actions can really harm its competitors, and the main competitors of Tinkoff are VTB and Sberbank, because Tinkoff just is not as popular as those banks, and those banks have much more revenue, so it's hard to
I'm
compare them.
not asking. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm not asking about like the harm. I'm asking about influence. How they change, maybe like their competitors maybe change themselves to like when they see offers of Tinkoff and strategies of Tinkoff. Like maybe they see
Okay.
some advantages in Tinkoff's strategies and try to adapt to themselves to this situation.
Okay, I see. In that case, it could be mentioned that some features of Tinkoff Bank were implied by Sberbank and VTB, such as investment tools, and as I can remember, paying how is it called? Paying tech, not paying fees uh, via bank. So Tinkoff implemented some features, and after a while, other banks did the same. So they are trying to adapt to Tinkoff ideas. So something like that. But I don't think that they are trying to change their behavior in the sphere of advertising. So Tinkoff aggressive advertising doesn't really influence his competitors. They just can't afford themselves to do the same thing. It's not in their image as banks.
Yeah, I see. And about aggressive advertisement, how it's cooperated with the such target audience, like highly paid people. Like when we talk about wealthy class, we usually thought about luxurious products that usually have quite calm and minimalistic perception in media. And you've mentioned that Tinkoff's advertisement is more aggressive. How they choose this strategy when their target audience perceived differently in media.
Okay, thank you for your question. We'll have some time. На самом деле это типа очень правильный вопрос, и типа он прям очень сильно режет нашу презу по горлу. Но тем не менее, типа это факт, что ну как бы вот у Тинькова настолько парадоксальная тема. Что как бы он вроде бы для обеспеченных людей, но вот с рекламой у него такая штука. Мне кажется, это из-за того, что он маленький, как банк. То есть у него классные идеи, но он маленький, как банк. И типа он пытается, ну, всеми, черт возьми, возможными способами привлечь клиентов. Вот. То есть как бы это действительно так, что обеспеченные клиенты обычно не любят ярких реклам, но типа в случае с Тиньковым он просто не может себе позволить, ну, как бы, вести себя как какой-нибудь столетний швейцарский банк, то есть который живет чисто на добром имени. Вот. Я думаю, я что-нибудь такое скажу. Кто-то хочет меня дополнить? Ребят?
Ух, я не знаю даже. Я не
Просто...
хочу тебя дополнять, я хочу, чтобы это закончилось, поэтому отвечай.
Окей. Okay. So, in fact, it can be named a paradox of Tinkoff business model because, as you have mentioned, wealthy clients don't usually like um, aggressive advertisement. But in case of Tinkoff, this company just can't afford itself not to do aggressive advertising. So Tinkoff is just a good bank with great ideas, but with so small audience. So so it is trying to attract new customers at all costs, and the alternative way of behavior. So, as we all know, mm, some some proven banks, some old banks, like Switzerland banks, who are not advertising today at all. They are made for wealthy clients, and they are living only on their good image. But Tinkoff doesn't have that luxury. It's a new bank with a small amount of clients, but he's trying to survive in our bank sector, and it's just a way of doing things for it. So otherwise, without any government support, he just wouldn't be able to exist. But that's only our point of view. So it could be a
Yes.
question for Oleg Tinkov, I believe.
Yeah. I see. And the last question is, as you've mentioned, one of the target audience for Tinkoff is businessmen. And in terms of banks that focus on working with entrepreneurs and businessmen, which competitors you can mention like to Tinkoff? Because like such big banks as Sberbank and VTB is more applied for like general audience. But there are smaller banks who now focus their advertisement on entrepreneurs, and may they consider as real competitors of Tinkoff.
Could you please repeat your question in short one more time? So you ask us about competitors in business sphere, but not VTB and Sberbank, or what?
Yeah, like may smaller banks who focused on entrepreneurs and business people consider as competitors of Tinkoff, or Tinkoff is bigger than them enough to not compete with them, but smaller than VTB and Sberbank to be like in the middle of this battlefield, kind of like that.
Okay. We will think for some seconds. Ну, господа, тут даже не знаю, что ответить. Типа какой-нибудь банк, точка, или еще кто-нибудь для, ну, кто себя позиционирует именно для бизнеса. Мне вообще не кажется, типа, что они могут соревноваться с Тиньковым. Как раз-таки именно из-за того, что Тиньков просто как черт агрессивно рекламируется. Вопрос в том, типа, могут ли маленькие банки, а не Сбербанк и ВТБ, которые конкретно нацелены на бизнесменов, ну, тягаться с Тиньковым? Мне кажется, нет. То есть как раз-таки из-за агрессивной рекламы. Ну да. То есть если они будут так же, как Тиньков, агрессивно рекламироваться, да. А так вряд ли. То есть это маленькие банки, ну, как бы без большой аудитории, без какого-то жуткого доверия, и типа вряд ли. То есть они
My friends,
либо...
we need your answer because, as I
Окей.
said before, we have very hard time frames.
Окей. So, uh, we suppose that small banks as Tochka or other banks who are positioning themselves as banks for entrepreneurs just can't compete with Tinkoff or with larger banks. So they can't compete with large banks as VTB and Sberbank because they're small, and they can't compete with Tinkoff just because Tinkoff is growing fast and using these aggressive advertising. So if they use the same way of advertising, they will have a chance. Otherwise, um, they will be destroyed by VTB, Sberbank, or by Tinkoff. So they are existing somewhere, but they don't have enough trust, enough money, and enough audience. That's our thoughts about that.
Thank you
Okay,
for
good.
answers.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, the aggressive ads is not the most important factor for entrepreneurs to use such service. They pay a lot of attention to conditions, to requirements, to you to be of being the bank flexible for the business, for their needs, and ads is just a tool to provide the idea of the bank that they are very modern and they are looking in the same way, in the same direction as entrepreneur. But we need to dive into the necessary requirements for each small business, for each entrepreneur to understand why they choose Tinkoff Bank. Of course, ads is just the tool to provide an idea, not the most important factor. Okay, thank you. And now we're looking for the last presentation by Team Skillbox. Your opponents will be IVA Sales and Tinkoff.
Предлагаю остаться здесь же.
Yes. Hello,
Я
everyone.
борюсь
And
с
today we are
искушением
going to tell
выйти.
you about TTP model
А еще надо сделать
in case of
вопросы.
our
Погоди.
company. We start our
Ну ладно.
presentation with segmentation.
Анжелика, ладно, не буду.
General characteristics of our audience.
Меня так хорошо
Skillbox
год
audience is
отсутствовал, конечно.
predominantly Russians and those people who know Russian. Geography, Skillbox is not tied to anything since you can take courses from any corner of the planet. Income. People who study in Skillbox are mainly from the middle class with average income 30 to 60,000. In the diagram, you can see the common interest of people who take online courses. Most of all, those who are interested in computer technology, from computer electronics to programming and software development. Then there are those who enjoy video games on the console. They occupy the same share as those who enjoy learning something. And the smallest group of people are into web design and graphical multimedia.
And now we'll talk about exact segments. The first one is people 25 to 50 years old with higher secondary education working in the office. They are ready for something new and want to master a profession in the digital field in order to switch to freelance. They also want to increase their income since freelancing can earn more than sitting in the office. The pain of this segment to low wages. The second group is pupils and students from 16 to 25 years who cannot understand who they see themselves in the future and would like to try themselves in new trendy professions. This group either does not have its own source of income, that is, it lives at the expense of the parents, or if they have any part-time job, then the income can be from 20,000 to 35. The pain of this group: universities do not teach modern digital professions, so they turn to online schools. The third group is people from 23 to 35 years old who already have high education or skills in some field of activity, but they do not have enough professional knowledge. So they want to supplement or improve their skills. This group of people loves to learn, gain new knowledge, and improve their skills. They are looking for quality and reliable online schools and courses that can fill the gaps in knowledge. The fourth group is young people from 18 to 30 mastering the digital profession so that there is more free time. Many young people value their time and want to spend it only profitably. They don't want to spend a lot of time commuting to work, so they prefer to work for themselves and manage their time as they please. And the last group that we highlighted, people who want to keep up with the times. People who are ready to change with the times. They always want to remain in demand in the labor market and keep abreast of trends and tendencies in the field of work, so they master new professions. They fear losing their jobs and becoming irrelevant in the labor market.
Okay, now let's talk about targeting. We may say that we are talking about undifferentiated targeting. So there are no exact customer groups, but I will tell you more about this later. So about B2C market, the target audience of Skillbox are males and females of 18-45 years old from Russia and CIS countries. The company is also targeted on development in English-speaking countries. So overall, we are talking about people who are willing to explore new digital and modern profession, as well as people with working experience and life background to expand their knowledge and become more demanding specialists. Nowadays, the company is also targeted on attracting offline customers as well as online ones. We talked about this in the previous presentation by organizing offline stations or like shops where customers may get acquainted with the information and test some courses. About B2B market, for this market niche, Skillbox is targeted on companies which are willing to organize refresher courses for its employees and companies which are searching for an appropriate skilled and educated in specific field employee. So this employee they may find in Skillbox's career center. As we identified targeting strategy of Skillbox as a differentiated one, we suppose that all segment groups are important and not really diversified. As the mission of the company is to make digital profession available for everyone, not depending on age and sex. Moreover, company uses one targeting and advertising tactics for all customer groups, and that is why we can differentiate the most expensive one. So expenses for all segment groups are pretty the same. And overall, we may see an upward trend in Skillbox revenue and consequently a growth and attainment of its target audience.
And now we'll talk about positioning of Skillbox. Skillbox offers a wide range of different courses for people of absolutely different ages. As an example, these courses can be useful for young people who start their career or for adults who have a desire to change profession or develop some particular skills. Skillbox offers different services within one platform: courses, communication with teachers, help with employment, and etc. Quality of courses is one of the most factors for each customer. We conducted a small questionnaire among our colleagues and university students, which helped us to understand which criteria are more important for customers: price, quality of courses, teachers' team, and opportunity to get any help with future employment. On the slide, uh, mm, it is a tool that defines the essential elements of a brand's positioning platform and guides the relative importance of each element based on the specific marketing environment and competitive challenge a brand is faced with. Positioning map can show us the position of Skillbox among competitors. Price is presented on the vertical axis, while quality of course is presented on the horizontal axis. It was hard to estimate the quality of courses because of different opinions on the point. However, we withdrew a conclusion to compare different platforms judging by three factors: reviews, teachers' team, diversity of courses, and kinds of contents. We have made the research and shows the results on the map. The most expensive online courses are from Geekbrains, then Netology, and Skillbox, and then Coursera. Judging by quality criteria, leaders are Skillbox and Coursera. After them are Geekbrains and Netology. Now, to sum up, Skillbox is a platform for people of different ages with different interests. However, for most of them, there are some crucial factors within which Skillbox takes a leading position. After making an analysis, we can say that Skillbox has one of the most advanced and modern courses compared to its competitors, which most help students to learn a profession or improve their skills. That is all. Here you can see our references, and now we would like to answer your questions.
Thank you. Could you please provide the source of research of that is shown on the previous slides about the costs and quality? Did you provide this research by yourself or are there any sources?
We did this research in Instagram among our colleagues or friends. We need to provide you results of this research.
No, for me, the most important is the source. Okay, it is great. You provided research. It's, of course, a brilliant factor of the success. Okay, thank you very much. And we are waiting for the question. As I said before, your opponents will be the sales in Tinkoff, the sales team will be the first one.
Thank you for your presentation. It was really interesting. And our first question is, may you name competitors that also focused on B2B and B2C markets, or is this a competitive advantage of Skillbox?
Could you please repeat question or write it in the chat, please?
Okay, I will write it.
Okay, we must say that, thank you for your question. Yes, it is obviously why your text in the chat is black, or it is just my something wrong with my computer. Okay. It is a competitive advantage because it is well-developed item, but for example, Knitology also uses this tool. So it is, for example, yes, Knitology, one of the main competitors who are also focused on not only B2B, but also on B2C, about the same tools and perspectives.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And our second question is, which category of courses is the most profitable? Which is it more attractive than other categories? As I remember, you mentioned these categories when you start your presentation in the first topic.
So the most popular categories from the graph are computer, electronics, and technology. So it is also programming and marketing. And these two tools are the most popular because of the amount of users which are using these programs, and also by the profit that company receives from exactly these programs.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
And our last question, does such a large number of services that Skillbox is trying to provide affect the quality of education? How does Skillbox manage to attract people of different ages with different level of education?
Could you please write your question in the chat?
Okay.
I think that Skillbox maintains a level of quality for the courses because Skillbox try to defend their reputation, and if quality of courses will be lower than competitors may have, it means that customers will prefer another company. Since that, Skillbox maintains their level of quality and provides a high quality courses. And what about the second part of the question? in Skillbox there are many different courses. It means that there are courses for there are basic courses for them who started study something recently, and there are courses for more advanced people who have knowledge in some areas already.
I also wanted to add about the quality of the courses. They always look for this, because if the information for the course is outdated, this is also about, their reputation. They always update this course, so the quality and how the novelty, if there is such word, новизна of the course, it is looked. And about the attraction of new people, Skillbox is mostly uses target advertisement, so it is attracting all categories of people.
Oh, okay. I may add something to my question. Wouldn't it be more efficient, more effective to focus on fewer areas to improve their quality, or they all good enough and the variety of courses is a competitive advantage of Skillbox?
Yeah, I would like kids by the other way. Is this level of segmentation enough, or by your opinion, or in current circumstances, all the competitors must divide market segments again by the more smaller segment? In a few words, please. Did you get my question, or I need to ask again by the other words?
Well, we partly got, but may you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, may you elaborate and say it once again, at least.
Okay. So Skillbox have a very wide range of products for big market, and your colleagues asked you about does the segmentation by the whole market enough, or we need to, or Skillbox or any other new member of this market, new competitor on this market, needed to divide this market onto more smaller parts, onto more smaller segments. For example, only aged people, or only people who are studying now in the university and looking for specific knowledge in the business sphere to implement their general knowledge as a scientist. So does this whole segment of the market that Skillbox provided enough, or we need to divide this segment into the smaller parts?
Well, personally, I think that it is not really profitable to concentrate on some small groups of people. For example, we will concentrate only on students who can't who have doubts about the relevance and how digital profession and information they get at the university, because Skillbox will lose a great amount of other audience, which are people who we mentioned who are working already at some offices and who just wants to refresh their courses or knowledges or improve their qualification. It is also for eldest people who maybe after their career, but by the end of their career, want to study something new, or at least to be in touch with something from the modern world. So personally, I don't really think that it will be profitable, because nowadays this big audience which Skillbox is targeted, and the variety of the courses which are represented, I personally think that it is a competitive advantage of Skillbox. And maybe to answer your question, we need to create a company that will be, for example, concentrated only, I don't know, on students or on office workers, and then we will make some conclusions. But this is my point of view for now. Did I answer your question or not?
Yeah, right. Thank you. And the last questions by Tinkoff team.
Судя по молчанию, неплохой вопрос. Вообще, ай-яй-яй, у нас из 6 участников сидят 4. Не очень
1 minute,
прикольно.
please. I suppose that Skillbox uses functional approach because their services are directed in solving a defined problem. For example, the person wants to have a new to get a new education, new profession, and Skillbox solves this problem of person. And or I don't know, students want to have a new profession, and universities cannot provide them this because in universities, in majority of universities that there are no some modern professions, for example, digital marketing, SMM marketing, and so on. And Skillbox solves this problem and gives these customers benefit.
Okay, thank you for your answer. So our next question is connected to position 2. So as for positioning criteria, are Skillbox courses unique or alike its competitors? Are their materials graduated or provided by some universities? So it is a well-known fact that, for example, Coursera is strongly connected with some universities. So some courses are just provided by universities to Coursera.
Well, but we also told about this in our previous presentations that Skillbox have a lot of courses with the universities. It is also one of the competitive advantage between, for example, Knitology or Geekbrains. Yes, for example, there are a lot of courses with Ron Hicks University and some others, which maybe I won't name you right now. But yes, there are a lot of universities.
So you evaluate Skillbox courses as unique. So they're not alike its competitors.
Well, yes, they cooperate with universities to make something new, something relevant and not outdated, as for example in the universities. If you mean this, then yes, unique courses.
Okay, thank you. So do you have any idea of usage rate segmentation? I will clarify it a little bit. So what is the proportion of so-called first-time users, heavy users, and regular users, and so on? Maybe you have some data on that or just some understanding.
Well, yeah, I think for this we need to look more precisely at the statistics, but I may give you an example about real situation in Skillbox, and it will show also and clarify the amount of each segment group of the target audience. So Skillbox had a situation when, together with the Ignite agency, they were doing the internet marketing course, and they believed that this was a course for beginners or for those who want to change their profession. So when the first 200 or 300 students completed the training, Skillbox collected portraits of the target audience, and it turned out that 50% of them are CEOs and owners of the companies, small businesses, and 35%, if I'm not mistaken, are serious marketers who wanted to expand their competitors, and only 15% were new buys. So the rate is about this. I think the rate for the new buys is also big for other courses. I think, for example, for designers, but so the rate, as we may think about this, is precisely like this, like in this example. So the majority of percent of users are not the new buys, but people who are just refreshing their knowledge or improving them. But for more precise information, we may look at the statistics, and you may write us later if you want.
Okay, thank you for your answer, but my question was more about the regularity of using Skillbox courses by the same person. So, does he or she? What are the proportions of persons of people who use Skillbox only for one course, for two courses, or more, and I don't know, every week, every month, or just 2 times in a year? So that was the question. It is connected with what you have mentioned, but it's not entirely the answer for my question.
It is difficult to say without any statistics, but statistics about Skillbox, this information this information cannot be defined exactly because the statistics are not in free access. But we think that the majority of people who visit Skillbox, they are new people who go to there, I suppose, but I cannot exactly say.
About the amount of courses, I think, yes, there is a problem that people start course, even if they buy this. This is even worse for the courses which are free. So they start the course and they didn't finish this for some, I don't know, personal reasons. But I think the situation is better when you buy the course, in which exactly when this course costs a lot, I don't know, even 30, maybe 60,000 of rubles, you have a motivation to finish this course. So we don't have exact statistics about this, but we may say that people probably finish one course, and if they liked the program, if they liked maybe the, I don't know, the teacher, or if this was the course for the beginners, and it, for example, the person has a good review of this course, it may complete for the next one. So maybe I have a friend that have already finished 6 courses for different topics on Skillbox, and he didn't want to stop doing this. So I think it depends on the person, but we don't have these exact statistics about this.
Okay, thanks a lot for your answers.
Yeah, thank you. Good suggestions. I hope that your friends are not a doctor, because if he is a doctor and he has more 5 professions, it would be a little bit dangerous.
Of the High School of Economics.
That's good. It's good that he is not a doctor. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Thanks for your research. It's a very important point when you provided the research, and of course, I will mean when I will summarize your final scores. When you provide the research, it is very important. Because of this is the main requirements of for each scientist. Okay, thank you very much for your presentations and for questions. I guess this lesson is quite better than the previous one when your issues are were very generally and not about the practice, but today's questions and debates quite more interesting. Thanks a lot. So if you have any question, please ask me. If you don't have, we are finishing because it's 12:30, and I'm looking forward for the next lesson, for the next presentations.
I have a question. May you tell us when we will receive our marks, please?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for delay because, as I said before, I'm in Granada University now, in the Munich University, and I have absolutely no time to summarize your scores. But I try to do it till the next lesson because I will be more free in Tuesday, Wednesday. I hope I will do it. I'm so sorry for this delay, but it's because of my trip for my short-term research projects in those two universities. I'm so sorry. I will try to send you those data till the next lesson.
Excuse
Okay,
me,
thank you.
but next week we won't have a lesson because we have a session.
Oh, that's good. It means that I will summarize your scores the next week because I will have free time on the Thursday. If you don't mind, I will send you in the middle of the next week. Okay?
Okay, and as for the MIST seminar, so when we are going to replace it?
I will contact our department today and send you information till the end of this week because I need to discuss it with our department when all the team members will be able to provide it. I will write you as soon as possible. I guess it will be today or tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Ну что, рассказать им, что опрос на 20 человек не является исследованием, что оценка жутко смещена, или не надо? Ладно.
Я думаю, не надо. Я предлагаю, ребята, послушать еще один анекдот в моем исполнении. И, ну, вот все вышли. Ну, собственно, Николай, это анекдот для вас. Вот, персонально. Я вот вспоминал, лежал сейчас, слушал вот эту прекрасную речь после Липатникова. На самом деле язык отличается в лучшую сторону. Вот, вспоминал анекдот и вспомнил. Вот, но он непростой. Анекдот про дни недели. Вот, но слушать нужно очень внимательно. Собственно, анекдот про дни недели. Понедельник. Начало рабочей недели. Постепенно вливаемся в рабочий процесс. Вторник. Неделя начинает разворачиваться все быстрее. Продолжаем работать. Среда. Обычный рабочий день. Четверг. Ну, скоро там пятница, уже близок конец рабочей недели. Пятница. Конец рабочей недели, завтра суббота, можно отдохнуть, все прекрасно. Суббота, воскресенье, выходные. Вопрос: сколько будет продолжаться фигня со средой? Там, на самом деле, все, кто слышит этот анекдот, они странно реагируют. Это специальный ход, каньон так называемый. потому что среда, он обычно рабочий день, он выбивается из общей колеи, потому что он ни туда, ни сюда. Вот. Это как определенный этап пути в лабиринте, знаете, Николай. В лабиринте рано или поздно идущий оказывается, собственно говоря, на том участке пути, когда путь назад приблизительно равен пути вперед. И вот как бы вот тот ужас, тот, собственно, критский вот ужас, который вот, в общем-то, выражен был в Минотавре, ну, понятное дело, что подтекст метафорический, вот тот ужас, он находится впереди, но в то же время отступать вот как-то уже и не хочется, потому что половина пути пройдена. Ну, это точно так же и здесь. Вот во время рабочей недели мы с вами, Николай, правда, находимся в четверге, но тем не менее, поскольку у нас суббота также является учебной, целесообразно утверждать, что четверг является серединой нашей рабочей недели, ее кульминацией, своего рода таким, как бы, каким-то, действительно, апогеем развития вот этого вот движения мысли, Николай. Представляете, сегодня я впервые за год побывал на семинаре по цифровой экономике. И я вам скажу, что мои впечатления, они потрясающие, ну, в кавычках, разумеется. Вот особенно ядодил, это просто было феноменально. 200 человек и даже ничего не стрельнуло. Конкурент Тинькова — это ядоди. А вот у человека ничего не стрельнуло даже в голове, когда он это читал. Ох. Ну, так там же написано, это Тинькофф на слайде нарисован. Ну ладно, будем считать, что так оно и должно было быть. Ладно, Николай, спасибо вам за компанию, за ответы на вопросы. Без вас, я думаю, что мы бы не получили той 6 или 5, или что у нас там, что у нас есть сейчас. До свидания. До свидания, Николай. Хорошего вам вечера, дня, ночи. Всего самого наилучшего.